Uncertainty is in the air after a shock victory that changed the playoff landscape. Last week, we took the Integrity Racing League to the Portland International Raceway for the very first time, and we got out of it a first-time winner for 2025. Justin Morton is locked into the playoffs, and with his massive victory and a dominant performance at that, the playoff bubble has been moved one spot down. Only 3 drivers will make it in from here. We have multiple locked in. At this point, we have ourselves first down to 11th locked through. Nick Tarbuck on points is due to clinch in as well, which leaves 3 drivers above the cut and more than 15 below it who are still eligible to make the Integrity Ignite Series playoffs. Welcome to the 20th race of the 2025 season. This is Fort Worth, Texas, and known as the Great American Speedway, this is the Texas Motor Speedway, our penultimate regular season race of the campaign. I'll be your host for tonight's broadcast. I'm David Kreutz, commentating and producing, and we are in for a good one. Last week was a battle between Justin Morton and Ethan Lane. Lane was dominant in the first half. Justin Morton was about a second off him throughout the race. Lane made a critical error, ended up speeding down pit road, and as you can see right now, the man who won last week is now in the playoffs. He is the 3rd JTM Motorsport driver to lock in, and he comes in now alongside his championship-leading teammate Thomas Bressi and his teammate in second in the points. That is Matthew Thunhorst. Morton this time around is going to slide out of his final lap, and it looks like not as much qualifying success today as he had last week. He's 16th right now. His second lap will not count. At the top of the board is Michael Lariah, only to be usurped by Matthew Thunhorst. Thunhorst goes fastest with a 30.485. Thunhorst takes it by 24 one-thousandths of a second. Vinny Tigner goes P3, now only 2 thousandths back on the 44. Thomas Bressi looking for a good time as he is still chasing after his teammate for that regular season championship. Just like that, Seb Miller gets his qualifying run done as well. Seb goes 13th. We've had 22 drivers take qualifying time so far. Now, Braxton DeWeese gets on the way. Braxton is one of those drivers who's right on the needle when it comes to the playoff battle. He now finds himself right within the confines, 15 points back. And to this point, he's just on the outset. He's had a few good runs as of late. He needs to keep that momentum up as he's going directly against Jacob Fife to enter the top 15. That's something that could come tonight, but it could swing either way. Fife qualifying 4th, so the number 36, who is his biggest rival in points, finds himself in a pretty good position. I'll tell you this much, if I was Braxton DeWeese, got to put all emphasis on this qualifying run. A minute and 17 seconds left. 27 drivers now have taken a time. Jack Drucker's first lap puts him in 27th place. Looking to see some major improvements on the next. DeWeese comes across the line. His first lap, it looks like, will be validated. A 30.5 second lap. That is a quick one. It puts him right above Jacob Fife. And Braxton DeWeese with a heater to begin his qualifying run. Jack Drucker's off the circuit. All eyes now on DeWeese. His first lap goes up to 4th. Perhaps a chance to keep on improving. Coming across the line, Braxton DeWeese. 30.528. He'll improve again. Can't take another spot, but what a run for the number 1 team. He is just 2 spots up on Jacob Fife. Fife and DeWeese are separate by 1 point, and they're both just under the top 15 in the standings. Ronnie Osmer with a great qualifying lap as well. The number 55 is one of those drivers who's also eyeing the points. Right now, Ronnie is on the cut, and he's between DeWeese and Fife. 4, 5, 6, some of the most important drivers in the bubble battle, all lining up with each other, but none will hold a candle to your championship leader, Matthew Thunhorst, who looks to extend the regular season title advantage that he holds tonight. Thunderworth puts in the top time, and once again, the 8 team rises to the top. Matthew so far has been so consistent this year that his one and only victory hasn't been too much of a concern. We've had a lot of drivers put together multiple wins so far, but the championship standings will show that when it comes to being consistent, that's where you find the most success. Drivers are taking their final times and laps in preparation for this one. It's 140 laps of racing tonight, going to come into 210 miles, so very typical for our intermediate distances. We'll have this, and we'll have New Hampshire next week. Those are the 2 races that are set to conclude the regular season. 32 drivers running strong tonight. Another great field at the tail end of this pre-playoff picture. And of course, the stakes are just about as high as ever. The beginning of it all, of course, is going to be the front row. And these are some of the best drivers who have come on strong as of late. Matthew Thunderworth, your championship leader, lines up P1. And alongside him, Michael Laraya, who collected his first Ignite Series win just 2 weeks ago. Laraya takes the outside pole. Matthew takes it up to P1, and Vinny Tigner grabs 3rd place for his best qualifying effort on the regular season. Braxton DeWeese, Ronnie Osmer, and Jacob Fife. These 3 drivers are on the bubble. Osmer sits 15th, Fife sits 16th. DeWeese sits 17th. They're only separate by 15 points, and on the racetrack tonight, they will be starting alongside each other, 4th, 5th, and 6th, respectively. 7th place on the order just behind will be the number 4 of Casey Shue, with DJ Stagner in the swamp starting 8th. Thomas Bressi, 2nd in the championship, goes 9th. Nicholas Ward, who's been doing great in the Octane Series, still fighting for an outside chance at an Integrity Ignite Series playoff spot. He will begin today right beside Bressi. That is P10. 11th place goes to Gael Brooks, and Tyler Hensley, fresh off a career best finish in 4th. He will go 12th place. 13th is going to be Matt Sizzler with Josh Christman. Then in 14th place, Tom Wetmore 15th, Blake Gordon in 16th, Brent McClendon 17th, and Sam Nieto in 18th. Seb Miller and Cody Smith round out the top 20 with Will Riker, Ryan Potter, Andrew Hamilton, Brandon Bernhardt, and Josh Gallagher making up the final drivers in the top 25. Ethan Lane qualifying 26th. He's going to try to do what he did at Michigan and go from the back of the field up to the front as Kyle Cooper starts 27th, Boomer Logan 28th, Justin Morton, your defending winner, 29th, and Steve Durham 30th. Your final 2 drivers on the day, both now at the tail end of the field, although they're top 5 in points. Jack Drucker, the final driver with a time, and Mick Tarbuck with no lap set in qualifying are the final drivers at the back end of your 32-car field. Welcome back to the Lone Star State, a big pole position in a state where everything's bigger. Matthew Thunderworth will lead the field to green tonight in less than 5 minutes' time. That's your starting lineup from Texas. My eyes, of course, have to be on that battle. It is 4th, 5th, 6th. Those are the drivers that have to perform tonight. Jacob Fife is one of them. Fife last year was able to strap himself up and snap a winless streak in the Integrity Ignite Series that dated back to 2023, winning 2 races last season. Now, of course, he finds himself back in a position where he needs a race victory. Sam Nieto on the circuit as Jacob Fife decides to put himself back on pit road. Nevertheless, I think the thing that everyone anticipates tonight for that Fife team, the number 36, is to push hard. Jacob has had some intermediate success so far. A victory at Las Vegas. He got it done in the Octane Series off an alternate strategy. That has been the big highlight of the year for the 36 team, and rightfully so. With time to spare now, Vinny Tigner on pit road, Laraya as well, not taking laps. There's Thomas Bressi getting on the way. Drivers who need to snap those winless streaks. I mean, you got to go back to guys outside the top 15 in points. That is the only way that Justin Morton was going to make himself a contender for the title. He pushed and pushed hard enough that he got himself out of harm's way and made it in to the playoff picture. A win changes everything for any driver, and guys in this field, they know it. Warm-up winding down. Final times have been set. qualifying and practice have concluded. That only leaves us now with one thing. That is your main event, the big show. It's about time we get to business here and race from the Lone Star State. Virtual crowd is packed from end to end of this front straightaway. And for very good reason. We are in for an exciting race and perhaps one of our outright best on the calendar. The stakes are high. Matthew Thunhorst at the front of the field. He knows it. Matthew leads the championship, the regular season title race, by 24 points over teammate Thomas Bressie. Still within a race's worth of points. Nick Tarbuck is starting 32nd tonight, but he's third in the championship. He's going to need a good race today to really reel himself back in. For the time being, he's starting at the back, and it's going to be a real challenge to get up front. Shades of Brad Patton, and of course, shades of Ethan Lane, as Lane is going to be qualified in 26th tonight. He'll have no choice but to run up front and try to work his way with the best of them up ahead. Last time he did so, Michigan 33rd up to 2nd, as Michael Araya was the eventual race winner on that day. From the Texas Motor Speedway, sunny skies, a little bit of cloud cover. It's not going to be beaming sun, but it will be warm and it will be bright all night long. Ambient temperature coming in today at 82 degrees Fahrenheit with a track temp at 117 degrees. Maybe expecting to see some slight increases, but the relative humidity will hold it down for drivers of 65% right now. Any warmer or any more humidity and those tires will be really slick all day. Expecting a potential high of 120 degrees Fahrenheit and sunny skies all night long. No chance of rain. Drivers will be stuck to the ground in that regard, but it could get real warm real fast. 3 extra tire sets available as per usual, so no extra liberty there. You got 140 laps. Make the most of what you got on pit road. There are no second chances. Time to get back to business with only 2 races left in the regular season. Matthew Thunhorst and Michael Araya have already punched their ticket, but many of the drivers right behind them know this is do or die. Welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway. We're underway for 210 miles of racing. Thunhorst leads him in. The bubble battle has begun again. Matthew Thunhorst finding himself second now as Michael Araya takes an early race lead. Watching out for those battles just behind. Ronnie Osmer advantageous over Jacob Fife. Braxton DeWee stays ahead of the 36, and it's side by side already. Osmer holds the final set of keys. 15 drivers are going to make their way through that front door. Ronnie right now, if the regular season was to end, he would be one of them. So he's going to need a great run tonight. Ronnie's best performance coming at Daytona, opening up the season with a podium. Found himself in the top 10 of the championship for the majority of the opening month and a half. Since that point, he's fallen a little bit further behind, but that's not to say that he isn't the caliber of driver that can run in the playoffs. He's up here for good reason. Ronnie finds himself 12th in the regular season standings. He's got himself to this point 3 top 5s and 4 top 10s. His golden night, of course, add one more to both of those tallies and at least take a top 5 while he's at it. He'll run third now as Vinny Tigner taking second place for Matthew Thunhorst. Riding aboard with Vinny early, opening 4 laps, see Michael Araya up and ahead. Michael needing that victory at Michigan, not to lock himself in, but just to prove that this 44 team still has the stuff. He and Ethan Lane have gone at each other now more than 20 times on the racetrack, and It's unbelievable each and every time they go racing. Tonight, however, Lane is not an immediate contender. I wouldn't be surprised if he's up there sometime soon. He's up to 22nd already, but right now, Lariah just trying to hit his marks and looking for his second win of the campaign. DJ Stagner, the series inaugural champion, is one of the many watching now at the head of the field. DJ finding himself 7th place. He qualified 8th. He's up 1 to this point. And Stagner is 49 points up on the cut line. Has not won yet this year. That's the outlier. Last year he got victory. Of course, 2023 able to make do with a win in the championship. But so far, he's in there by the skin of his teeth. It just comes down to whether or not he's got the points to make it in. Just about 50 points. That's the gap he's got, which is less than a race's worth of points, but it's also not an uncomfortable margin. I think that's the thing you got to think about right now. What margins can be worked out correctly? And for the time being, you look at DJ Stagner here, I think he's got himself a fair enough margin where if he doesn't make a major mistake over the next 2 races, he will be competing for his 2nd championship. Wouldn't worry at all if I was DJ Stagner in that regard. Casey Shue going right ahead of him. Casey, 6th place. You'll see him slide right up. This will be for P5, if, of course, they can get to Braxton DeWeese up next. Jacob Fife now facing the pressure from Thomas Bressi. Fife, of the 3 who need it bad, finds himself now on the far side. He came in 14 points behind the driver of the number 55. That's Ronnie Osmer, of course. And for the time being, with Ronnie being just ahead of Jacob Fife and Braxton DeWeese, who came in under Fife, now outperforming him early, Jacob is not in jeopardy just yet, but he is with a disadvantage. I think that's what you got to look at right now, whether or not he's got what it takes to persevere. If you look into the history books, I would say yes. Right now, it's not his. Vinny Tigner for the race lead. Vinny taking it for the first time tonight. Michael Araya not able to defend. Vinny gets down to the bottom. It's all his through 1 and 2, and he'll take it decisively through turns 3 and 4. From this point onward, lap 10, we're getting into business, and you can see that separation. Tyler Hensley and Blake Gordon are about the final drivers now who are connected to the leading train. It's about 2.5 seconds back to Gordon into 13. 2 seconds back, you see Tom Wetmore, Nicholas Ward, and Matt Sizzler here. 12 drivers are effectively locked in. Wetmore is one of those who is on the cut. He finds himself 20 points up. Finds himself just ahead of the cut line. Those 20 points could go many a way. However, now, running just outside the top 10 is not an uncomfortable place to be. Wetmore in 12th here is ahead of some critical contenders, including Ward and Sebastian Miller. Seb Miller right now is running 16th. Miller is only 37 points off the cut line. 2 good races in his favor could really make the difference. 37 points back means that he would have to make up about 19 points each and every time around, which is for the next 2 races. That's not a horrible amount to make up. However, you got to make it through a lot of good drivers in the clutch. Lane to the inside on Andrew Hamilton. That'll be his 9th spot on the day. 12 laps in out of 140. Ethan slowly but surely making his way up, and I would be very surprised if by the end of this first stint he's not inside the top 10. Casey Shue holding 7th. Jacob Fife now looking to get it right back from him, and Thomas Bressi is now the 3rd driver in this battle. Thomas Bressi, Casey Shue, teammates for JTM Motorsport, and you've also got Tyler Hensley behind, so here is a train of 3 drivers all for the same team. Tyler Hensley running 10th, Bressi 9th, Casey Shue now P8, although it looks like Jacob Fife again feeling that pressure. He'll fend off for the time being. 14 laps in, Michael Araya now falling back 0.4 of a second the deficit as Vinny Tigner takes hold. Vinny is in his 2nd season racing in the Integrity Ignite Series, and right now, It looks like he's got himself the best shot opening a race up early with the lead. He's had some instances taking it through strategy, having the advantage as the night goes on, but never has he gotten there at the end, and for the most part anyway, he hasn't been able to get the job done to start. But the gears are rolling off real well tonight, and currently it looks like he's got it made up and ahead. 5/10 back, Michael Araya. And then from there, of course, Ronnie Osmer, Braxton DeWeese and company. Some of these drivers looking for their first wins on the season. Braxton DeWeese is one of them. Osmer and Tigner winless for their career so far. This could be a game-changing night, especially for that Tigner team. Vinny outside of the top 20 right now, and he would love to be the second consecutive upset to take the championship playoff picture by storm. Michael Araya holds P2, Ronnie Osmer third, DeWeese fourth. Taking a look at some big movers. 5 spots up, Blake Gordon. Gordon hanging on to the back end of this main pack here. We'll see how long he can do that. Gordon historically has had the biggest struggles with long run pace and working his tires well. Unfortunately, I think that might just be the case tonight. If, of course, he can't pull himself back up. The Endeavor Racing number 13 car here, we've seen it before. Darlington last season. He's had several instances of strong starts this year where sometimes it just falls out and comes to pass just because of how long we have green flag runs for. Always a driver who's opportunistic, looking to make moves, and when it comes to the track type he's the best at, he's quite the short track ace, all things considered. But the intermediates never have been too kind to him, even when he does have the pace. 18 laps in out of 140, he is still the bookending man of the lead pack. 11 drivers, and then you go back to Tom Wetmore. Wetmore's cut the gap slightly. Now it's about 1.6 seconds relative from Wetmore to Blake Gordon. Lane has now made 10 positions up, 26th to 16th. "18 laps in, Brant McClendon right behind, and there's going to be McClendon with Seb Miller. Seb running 17th, McClendon P16, now toe-to-toe as the Harry's number 83 gets to the inside. Brant for Louisiana State University is another driver looking for an upset here. He's outside of the top 20. Seb Miller is still, relatively speaking, in the picture, but he'll need to make up a few more spots than just for 16th if he wants a fair shot at making the playoffs. While coming home with the team championship and the driver's title in an amazing season last year for the Highline Racing League, the same success has not been seen yet for the Swamp in the Integrity Racing League. While DJ Stagner has become a perennial playoff contender, Seb Miller so far has not yet been able to bring that energy through in a full-time capacity. He's brought together some great races. USA International last year, he was a podium contender. He came onto the scene strong at Daytona last year as well for both the Highline Racing League and Integrity. But overall victory has been rather elusive for the 83 car. He got his first Highline win last year at the Milwaukee Mile, and it was a toe-to-toe battle between he and Lucas Lodato. And ever since that point, he's had a little bit more wind in his sails in that series, top 5 in points. But the Integrity Racing League has proven a different challenge so far, as he's got Cody Smith on his back end for 17th. Lane is now inside the top 15. Vinny Tigner leads by a second. It may just be Vinny Tigner's night. Early to say it, but he's up there, and he's keeping Araya at bay. Michael Araya, of all drivers, is one you really don't have an easy time of defending against if he's on. Now, talking strategy, 22 laps in, out of 140 here. We've got a few sets, and we got a few more laps than usual. There is a potential that we see a 70-lap run, which means we'll split the race right down in half, and that will be that. However, there's also a very real chance, and I think a few drivers are going to go for it no matter what happens, that we see a few drivers going in for about 45, 50 lap stints, and they'll do so to protect their equipment and take no risks on the way through. I think that the winning strategy is going to be that firm 70-lap stint. However, we are going to see some drivers in the back of the field maybe try to do it different and time themselves out in a different way relative to the leaders in the pack. DJ Stagner coming across the line. He will go now 4th place. Matthew Thunhorst 5th, Braxton DeWeese 6th, and Thomas Bressi 7th as they space themselves out side by side. Bressi getting closer to his teammate now as DeWeese falls outside of the top 5. Some shuffles here as DJ is now up 4 on his qualifying placement. Thomas Bressi to the inside on Braxton DeWeese. Now, keep in mind for DeWeese, he's not necessarily competing against the JTM guys here. Of course, his biggest focus is staying up there with the number 55 of Ronnie Osmer. Ronnie, of course, is one he's got to look out for. But at the very same time, DeWeese also has to deal with the guys behind him. To this point, I don't believe it's going to be an issue for DeWeese to fall ever so slightly back. But right now, just a few moments away, you got Jacob Fife. Fife is a driver who is on that bubble, and he's one you can't fall behind if you're Braxton DeWeese. Take a look aboard. Jacob is only a few car lengths back. He'll have to get by Tyler Hensley first if he wants a shot around. Hensley, a little bit of a bobble out of Ford. This is the best chance he's had. Fife to the inside. Jacob gets low. Thomas Bressi sees DeWeese under again. Toe-to-toe once more. It'll be 2 by 2. Briefly, Jacob Fife is trying to keep the heat on. Can't quite do anything about it so far. As Tyler goes high, Jacob gets backed up again. Vinny Tigner's now seen his lead cut in half. The gap is only 0.3 of a second. Michael Araya is back in business. And take a look at that distance between the top 2 guys and the rest of the field. Stagner is taking 3rd, mind you. He is several seconds back on the leaders. Then you have Thunhorst. Thunhorst is again just 1 position ahead of Bressi, which I feel like we've been seeing them this way for the past month. That's how close they've been to each other. They're in that same position again. Meanwhile, Tigner and Laraya are isolated. They've got nobody with them. And the way they're going at it right now, well, they're out in their own world, almost like Laraya and Lane were just a few weeks ago. It's a very similar situation, and they have broken themselves out. Taking a look at that back end of the field, I mean, it's not even the back end, but you wouldn't think they were in the same competitive sphere. You would think they were lappers with how far these leaders have put distance to them. Ethan Lane is looking for 10th place right now, and he just took it. Lane under Casey Shue. He'll make his way through. Take a look at that number 6. Casey Shue passed as Lane makes the top 10. Now 16 spots put together. On the up and up, Ethan Lane for 10th. It's only taken him about a quarter of this race to make up more than half the field. Michael Araya taking lead over Vinny Tigner again. So it's going to be Tigner to the point. What a start it's been for the 44 and the 12 alike. They've got 2.5 seconds over the rest of the field. And this is the type of advantage you can bring into the rest of the race and build that momentum all night long. Braxton DeWeese to get back inside the top 5, a spot he needs. He will gladly take it. Ronnie Osmer's now falling back into 10th place. And it looks like some of that tire pushing he's been given has burnt him out. DeWeese with a critical run tonight, and if he gets ahead of Bressi and stays that way, he'll be in good spirits coming into New Hampshire. Now Braxton runs ahead of both Jacob Fife and Ronnie Osmer. He came in 15 points under the cut line. A top 5 will do wonders and put him right back on the bubble. A reminder, however, that no matter what happens here, even if Braxton gets all these points against his rivals, there is no guarantee that he locks himself in unless he wins. Because if Vinny Tigner wins, or if someone who hasn't won all year so far wins, it means that the playoff bubble battle gets reset again. And what you're going to see is every driver being put one step backwards. So right now, Ronnie Osmer's on the bubble. He'll be moved back. Tom Wetmore will be sitting on the cut line. And each time you have a new race winner, the harder it is to climb that cut line again, because then you've just got to go out there and perform better. And the ceiling is as high as ever. The floor is lower. You have to perform to a higher expectation when there's more winners. Justin Morton, I mean, he completely changed the game with the win he had last week. Not running the best right now. He's in 25th. Didn't qualify well either. But for him, it's not as much of a concern because he knows he has that win in his back pocket. And for everyone else, it sent them panicking. But right now, if you're Justin Morton, you are sitting tight and you've got nothing else to worry about. Morton's gotten away. He's gotten the advantage over just about every other driver, except for those who, of course, have more wins than him, but he's locked in. That's all he needs. And that is all he will concern himself with for the time being. Michael Araya leading by now 0.6 of a second. Vinny Tigner P2. Third is DJ Stagner. Fourth is Matthew Thunhorst. And you'll take a look back for some other close battles. And here's a few of interest. Seb Miller now going to be caught up with Josh Christman. This will be the battle for around the 19th position. Brent McClendon just ahead as well. He might be caught in the mix. We'll see if that ends up brewing into anything special. Blake Gordon has fallen back 4 now, and he's dropped back to 15th place, one spot above where he qualified, and it looks like his high tonight has been the 11th position. He's dropped back since, and it looks like he's got himself P15. So, falling a little bit further back, still ahead of where he started. Not a bad place to be for the time being. 37 laps in, one down at pit road, and it looks like this could be the start of many more. That is Ronnie Osmer making an early call in. Osmer drops right down low. Ronnie with this early call, and this is what we expected. The multi-stop strategy is in business tonight. Ronnie will be the first of which to test it out. He's coming in at lap 37. It's a pretty early call, all things considered. He most likely is just coming in to get himself some tires and go for a longer middle stint. If this was a fully scheduled stop, or fully prepared stop, shall we say, he might have been able to go 10 laps longer, but he tested in limits, and now it looks like he's going to have to go in earlier to compensate for burning his stuff early. Michael Araya out in his own world, 5 seconds up on Ethan Lane. Ethan is in 7th. Mind you, tonight, he qualified 26th. Only on the up and up right now. And just unbelievable that he is most likely going to have himself 20 positions gained before he heads down pit road. The consistency and the pace. If you're any driver on iRacing or any motorsport platform, to have one of the two attributes that Ethan Lane has, you would still be a stellar driver. Ethan Lane just happens to have that multi-tool package that puts him head and shoulders above almost everyone in the field. There he goes. He's now chasing fully after P6. And it's not only the fact that he is almost always the fastest driver in the racing circuit, it's the fact that each and every time he goes out there, he finds a way up to the front, even when it doesn't begin his way. Michigan, from outside the top 30 to the top 2, tonight already, 26th up to P7. I think he's got a lot more in him from here, and a top 5 is very much in the call for discussion. Further back in the field, we haven't seen all too much tension flare. It's a lot of single file here in Texas, and although it has been some contentious racing up in front, we have definitely seen some solid battles. Not an easy track to pass at the Texas Motor Speedway. A few other intermediates like Charlotte lend themselves better to multi-groove racing. There are some tracks like Chicagoland or Kansas that give way with that curved back straightaway at Chicago, the apron down to the inside in Kansas. Texas really doesn't have any of that. You are almost entirely gridlocked, and you're forced to try to chase after the inside line. If you have the inside and you're faster on the inside, you're going to make passes. If you are slower on the inside, good luck. You're going to need it. That's basically the way that this track has been operating for some 10 years at the minimum. The Texas Motor Speedway has always been a little bit of the odd intermediate out of the package. Perhaps the black sheep of the mile and a half, if you want to put it that way, but ever since 2017, it's really been that case. With the PJ1 applied, the racing circuit has been less than favorable for most drivers, and even as it's worn in, it's gotten a little bit better, but it really is far from a fan favorite. This iteration on iRacing is based directly off the 2020 racing season, so it's not easy. You're a driver on track right now, you're struggling to make moves, even though you absolutely need to keep yourself out there pushing. Tom Wetmore just ahead now of Jacob Fife. He'll get by the 36. Wetmore moves up to 9th. Last time we checked on him, he was 12th. And now the lines have blurred between Pack 1 and Pack 2. He's in a lot better shape as he's pulled himself up inside the top 10 conversation. Nicholas Ward would like to take a spot from him. These two are both inside the top 10 now and ahead of Jacob Fife at that. DJ Stagner still comfortably third. Matthew Thunhorst and Thomas Bressi, perhaps the biggest, longest battle of the season that began as a flare-up in late May, and it has gone all summer long. It's been a red-hot run for these two drivers who, over the past 2 months, have only separated themselves by 24 points. They have exchanged the championship lead 4 times with margins as slim as an individual point coming into a race. Over the past 2 months, the gap between these two drivers has not gone longer or bigger than 50 points. And that was when Matthew Thunhorst closed in on Thomas Bressi. And even though he's crossed the hurdle of taking the championship not once but twice from the 24 team, Bressi's been there. And he takes that spot again. Notably, they had a photo finish at Michigan, which was decided by less than a hundredth of a second. Cautions out. It is at the back of the field. Let's see what happened. We've got trouble on the racetrack for the first time tonight. Yellow is out, and we're taking an overhead look to figure out what caused it. 46 laps in out of 140, and an issue on the racetrack for the very first time. Yellow flag, and we're expecting everyone to come down to pit road. See Braxton DeWeese there. You see these leaders in the upper mid-pack. The call on the field is made. There's the second pack. There are some of the back marker guys. It's Brant McClendon. McClendon, 29th as it stands. Take a look back and you'll see. Brant riding into turns 1 and 2. Behind him is Jack Drucker. Drucker having an uncharacteristically underperforming night outside the top 15. He was looking to make a move for 17th. Goes low, and McClendon slides up. Contact, Morton gets away, but the 11 goes slipping up the track. Caution's out, first time today, as Brant McClendon, contact with Drucker, brings out the caution. Brant is now catching up to the leaders as they come down to pit road for the first pit stop cycle of the day. And this will be the first of most likely 2 at minimum as the night progresses. Drivers only have themselves 2 extra sets of tire from here, and they're going to choose to use one now. So let's find out what happens as they all drop in at once. "48 laps in out of 50. 4 tires and fuel, the recipe for every driver. We'll see if anyone decides to do it different, but so quickly the back of the field gets on its way. Michael Araya rolls right out. It'll be Laraya over DJ Stagner, then Vinny Tigner, Thomas Bressi, Matthew Thunhorst, Ethan Lane, Braxton DeWeese, Nicholas Ward, Tom Wetmore, and Jacob Fife for the top 10. As they roll out in sequence, Michael Araya reclaims the top spot. DJ Stagner getting himself in the middle of what has been the most exciting battle throughout the campaign of this race. Only one race of this rivalry, and it's been pretty good so far, a few tenths of a second apart for the most part, between Michael Araya and Vinny Tigner. The strongest performance for the Tigner team so far this year, qualifying third, still running up there inside the podium. And he is set to get back to work as we go at it for lap number 50 of 140. So we're coming up ever so slightly to that halfway marker. A great opening run. Some minor contact setting us back, but hopefully from here, cautions don't breed cautions. Laraya will be followed by Tigner and Thunhorst. DJ Stagner will be chased down by Thomas Bressi and Ethan Lane. Lane is officially in the picture. He's starting this run in 6th, and he has fresh tire. So he's on a level playing field. Everyone else has to watch out. "50 laps in when we go back to business. Michael Araya is ready to roll. Let's see if he can build up a lead again. Two by two as they get back to work. We got 31 drivers on the lead lap. Will Riker, the last of which, as the 67 car collects itself with the field. Michael Araya, as the sun beams down, brings them back up to pace. Stagner second, Tigner third, and they'll all get back to work. Up high, it's Thomas Bressi and DJ Stagner. Tigner already P2. Michael Araya now holds forward as he gets himself out of turn 4, but Vinny Tigner, not so fast, is looking to get right back up to him. DJ Stagner will watch. Tigner has been just about as good, if not better, than Michael Araya on the short runs here. I think the thing about it is, right now anyway, this race, if it comes down to those two drivers, will be entirely dependent on how the final run ends up going. If there is a final run, Michael Araya getting a long stint, I think he's going to have the advantage. If Vinny Tigner gets his way and keeps it a little bit shorter, I have a feeling the number 12 team will be the advantageous one when it is all said and done. Side by side, Cody Smith up in the mix with Sam Nieto and Jack Drucker benefiting slightly from this pit stop cycle, now to firmly make it into the top 15. Jack Drucker looking low on Smith, can't get there. Josh Chrisman right alongside as he'll go toe-to-toe with Casey Shue now. Braxton Deweese falls back slightly to 7th place, but he still has Osmer and Jacob Fife at bay. Jacob is in 8th place. He's still right there. Ronnie Osmer, not so much. Ronnie is now fallen back into the 28th place, and he's going to have to come from all the way at the back of the field. Let's see what happens here. Ronnie has a long way to go. He qualified well, but he can't give up any more points than he's already giving, being in P28 now. That is horrible. And it means that he's most likely going to drop off of the bubble line and fall under the cut. He's got to work from here. 28th is unacceptable when you're looking for a playoff run. Now, Jacob Fife to the inside on Braxton Deweese. These two can't forget that if Osmer's out, they're up next. To the inside and through, Jacob Fife makes his way around. So Deweese is only going to lose one position in this ordeal right now anyway. and it might just be Jacob Fife and Braxton Weiss for the final spot in the playoffs here. Tom Wetmore wants to reinforce himself. He can't sit behind these two drivers. They're only 35 points behind him. 35 points might sound like a fair amount, and while it is definitely a much bigger benefit than being under the cut, if Tom Wetmore has a disastrous race next week, being behind both the 36 and the 1 at once in one race, that is about the opposite of what you want to deal with right now. Wetmore might not be in panic mode, but I think it's in his best interest, of course, to look at these next two positions and handle with care. They might be the most important ones he gets for the rest of the night. Ethan Lane started this run 6th. Hasn't made any tremendous moves so far, and in fact, it looks like he's feeling the pressure from Jacob Fife. Fife to the inside will take another position. Jacob P6. Ethan Lane actually drops back a spot for the very first time tonight. Up 19 on where he qualified regardless, but Ethan Lane is hitting a brief plateau, although I would be shocked if that's the end of it for him. Vinny Tigner is about 2/10 back on Michael Araya. Coming across the line here, defense is going to be strong for Michael Araya, but he hasn't had to concern himself with the bumper-to-bumper racing just yet. The entire top 10 has slightly fanned out here. Jacob Fife, anyways, trying to get up to Thomas Bressie, hasn't done so yet. It's that back end of the top 10 that keeps on battling. Wetmore looking to take one from DeWeese. Braxton cannot afford to fall out of the top 10. Nicholas Ward would be the final driver in the top 10 that DeWeese would fall to. 10th place is Ward, 9th is Wetmore, and Braxton DeWeese is P8 here. Take a look for the back end of the number 1 and you'll see exactly what he's got to look at in the rearview mirror. To the inside and sweeping just under, Tom Wetmore again lunges for the pass into turns 1 and 2. Slicing to the inside, and that inner groove has been everything for passes. If you want to make a move for position, no other choice but to duck down to the inside and work from there. Tom tries it, but Wetmore has been resilient as ever. 61 laps in out of 140. And this is going to be one of those battles that keeps DeWeese on his toes all night long. You cannot afford to lose any more points if you're on the playoff bubble. Jacob Fife is looking to be advantageous today. His end goal, make it up into P15 in points and go from there. He might not be able to get himself up to where Tom Wetmore is, but he wants that final spot, and he wants it badly. Coming across the line for Fife, 6th place for your league owner. Michael Araya still keeping 1/10.5 the distance between Laraya and Tigner. It's Michael's edge as he looks for win number 2 on the year. DJ Stagner is only a half second back, though. He has not dropped off the ladder yet. Stagner, never the type to quit. Even if he's not leading early on, he finds himself up there, usually when it matters most. I mean, he's got a way about him inside the cockpit. And I think that's something that the Swamp Motorsport team shows very well on Thursday nights. But it really does come into play for Stagner as an individual in this series as well. He can be the 5th or 6th best driver. And most times when he finds himself in victory lane, he is not the best driver on the track. I don't say that to be demeaning. I say that honestly because he might not be the fastest guy, but he works the strategy very well. Multiple victories of his across multiple series, including this Integrity Ignite series, have come just by being patient, finding his way around when it matters most, and understanding that the immediate is not everything. Of course, if you're up there leading laps, it shows you've got the potential to win. But the only lap that matters is that final lap, and if you lead to the checkered, the win is yours. So Stagner doesn't have to push all too hard. He's got to keep those leaders within his range of sight, but otherwise, he doesn't have to really break his back over getting up there. Matt Sisler looking for a first top 10 in the Integrity Ignite Series. He's a full-time guy on Tuesday nights. Good to see the 93 team coming out and getting some double duty in alongside another driver who does it both nights, and that's Nick Tarbuck and Sam Nieto as well. So you got some of those guys who are racing tomorrow from the Brickyard. They'll be racing at the virtual Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So make sure to stay tuned live on FTN Broadcasting to coverage of the Octane Series. Same time, different place. Well, different racetrack anyway, and a different day. Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, live on FTN Broadcasting. We'd hope to have you there for more exciting coverage of the Integrity Racing League. The playoff picture is ramping up and big. Tarbuck to the inside on Sisler. It's for 11th. Two by two, not quite, but this battle's now been side by side for the better part of a lap. Nick on the inside, still going to be Matt Sisler putting that pressure up on the ceiling of the circuit. The second groove hasn't worked out well for all too many people, but it looks like right now anyway, Matt Sisler hasn't had reason to quit. Although a skate back once again, turns 1 and 2, not particularly kind to him. A run down the back straight shows the 29 has the edge. Top 10 might see a move. Ethan Lane getting back up there to Jacob Fife. 67 laps in out of 140. Matthew Thunhorse leads the big train. From 4th on down, your top 3 drivers are entirely separate, and they are out of everyone's way. They're out, they're up and ahead. They have no concerns as to what's going on down here. Just a few tenths of a second behind. Thomas Bressi is Fife. Fife is looking for the top 5. Lane is looking to get back to 6th. And it looks like so far, Lane has really hit a little bit of a plateau. A surprise, to say the least, for our winningest ever Integrity Racing League driver. He's been on a streak now of losing races in perhaps the worst ways possible. Michigan, it was an all-out dogfight between he and Michael Araya. Laraya simply outdrove him. Then from there, of course, you had last week in Portland, where Justin Morton got the better of him with strategy, and it was that pit stop violation that sent him out of the leading fight. And he ended up settling for another top 5 finish, of course, but a win that could have been just didn't go his way. Tom Wetmore still chases. Nicholas Ward right there as well. The closest driver right now to shaking up that playoff picture is Vinny Tigner. Tigner wins, chaos. Outright chaos for the rest of the field here because he's outside of the top 20. If he moves himself up there, I don't know what we're going to see next week. It would leave Tom Wetmore on the bubble. It would move DJ Stagner down to the second to last seed. And then you would have Fife, you would have Osmer, you would have DeWeese all sitting on the outside looking in. And I think, honestly, it would come down to a win-or-go-home sort of matchup. Even if none of those drivers win, that would be the attitude. They would have to push more aggressive than ever. Tom Wetmore knows that just one position, a position he's not in control of, a driver he's not in control of, could be the difference between locking himself into the playoffs with 2 comfortable rides or having to claw for it until the very last moment at the Magic Mile. 71 laps, 10 out of 140, we have hit the halfway marker, and that means that now our next pit stop window is slowly but surely coming to its opening. We went down to pit road at about lap 40, and I think that means that with about 30 lap stints going so far, that we should be in the mix for some pit stops at about lap 90, lap 95. You see, we saw guys going at lap 47 and 48, so that's been about 25 laps. I wouldn't be surprised if we have it in us to go 25 more. I think that's going to be the best bet for all those in the field. Michael Araya and Vinny Tigner, those two, of course, will be the guys who set the tone, and we'll see when they decide to come down to pit road. 2-stop strategy looks to be the winning call tonight by virtue of an early caution, which changed the game. Matt Sizzler to the inside on Sam Nieto. Sizzler, this time around, hoping to defend and keep 12th place. This is the final spot in that top dozen. Tyler Hensley on looking as well, so if there's any scraps left on the table, he might just be able to take 13th place. 13th not yet either of theirs for certain. You can't tell who's going to take it. Almost contact there. But nothing comes of it. Sam Nieto gets back on the chase. Kyle Cooper watching Justin Morton. Morton, while not having the best of nights for certain, has now made up 9 places on the day, qualifying 29th and taking it to P20. By no means has he given in or quit, but it looks like now Ethan Lane is looking for a top 5 placement. Can you believe it? Down the back straight, it's going to be Thomas Bressi on the high side and Lane with the passing groove down low. Ethan Lane for his 21st overtake of the night. He's now in 5th place. Thomas Bressi watching as Ethan Lane continues to surge. His next target is a driver right ahead of him, his teammate and championship leader, Matthew Thunhorst. And a drive deep into turns 1 and 2. No hesitation, no patience. Lane takes 4th. .64 laps to go. Ethan getting himself out of the rut. Moves from 7th up to now the 4th position in only 10 laps. Oh, Tom Wetmore. How about Tom as well? Wetmore now trying to get himself up into the mix. And this would be for 7th place. Toe-to-toe, the number 69 with the 97 of Ward. Not yet much has come of it. Ward has been behind Tom Wetmore in this rise the ranks. With Jacob Fife right here, will you see Ward decide to make a move on Tom, or instead will the pressure be put on the 36? Bressy's leading this 4-car train. We'll see who breaks first. It's going to be Jacob Fife surging 2 grooves high, and he's going to get shook big. No contact, but definitely putting himself in the wrong place. Losing 1 spot, now in jeopardy of losing a 2nd. Nicholas Ward to the inside, trying to take another from Fife. Nicholas Ward keeps the defense on. Nick Tarbug is watching. Nick is still in 10th. He hasn't quite put himself up there just yet, but he is in the top 10 and the upper ranks. Watch to see if he can make the most of this. Thomas Bressi chasing after his championship-leading teammate again. No matter what the situation has been, I'll tell you this much. If you go through any Integrity Ignite Series broadcast from May up to now, that's going to be, if you take a look at the schedule here, from the beginning of May, which was, at that point, our first race of May was Motegi, all the way up to now, I think you can find a moment where these 2 drivers were alongside each other at least once, position for position, in each of those races. And not in brief moments. I think there were several battles across each and every race. Tom Wetmore here to the inside on Bressi. Roadhouse Racing, only 1 competitor on the track tonight. Blake Cannon not with us, but the leading man, it's going to be Wetmore surging down on Bressi. Thomas taking up to that 3rd groove, and he's going to take this back straightaway and hope that it saves him with that pull down and in. Looks like it's just enough to hang toe-to-toe. Boxed in, Wetmore is. He's got both JTM guys right up on him. 59 laps to go. Tom, and of course, Thomas Bressi. What a battle now, and it looks like Bressi's decided he can use his high groove and make positions. Now Thunhorse placed in the exact same spot as Bressi. Will he work it out? Bressi for 5th. Matthew Thunhorse now 6th, and he could fall back to P7 or be freight trained down the line for even more. Now that is a moment Thunhorse would have liked to avoid. He's going to have to pull himself back together. Oh, contact! Ward into Thunhorse, sliding to the inside goes the 8. Up the track with a spin, the caution's out. Matthew Thunhorse saves himself, but either way, he'll lose a fair deal of positions as he goes for a 360. Yellow flag, contact with Ward. Luckily, everyone in this incident is going to get away from it, but as you could see, coming down the back straightaway, just a little bit of contact, and that's what initiates it. They're right up alongside each other. And going into turn 3, just contact, wrong place, both drivers. Ward disposes of Thunhorse. Matthew saves it remarkably. And I don't think he's going to lose more than 3 or 4 positions in that. And we'll be heading down to pit road in this run. So he gets the saving grace of it all, that he's not completely killed off that wreck. Take a look on board with the number 8s. Matthew Thunhorse, the clean 360 and a race-saving one. He'll have to pull it back together from here if he wants to keep on fighting. Now it's going to be Michael Araya who wins the race off of pit road, and with them is going to be DJ Stagner, then Vinny Tigner, and following him you'll have Thomas Bressi, Ethan Lane, Tom Wetmore, Nicholas Ward, Braxton Deweese, and Jacob Fife. It looks like for the number 8 team of Thunhorse, well, Matthews going to find himself suffering from some of the consequences as he comes out 11th place. Either way, it's a lot better than having a junked race car. The only damage that he had was the scuffing to the tire, and he just dealt with it. So, race is far from over for Thunhorse here. Just a little bit of a setback and a hindrance. $55 laps to go. We will come back to green with 53 remaining. Steve Durham remains out. He's the only holdout here as Ronnie Osmer decides to go down and in. Ronnie is 55 car, of course, 1 lap down, 28th. Qualified 5th tonight, just hasn't gone his way ever since the first cycle. So as Ronnie pulls through, Steve Durham is going to hold out here. This is going to be risky. Tuesday night, when we decided to play the old tire game in front of the field, went pretty horrible. We had 3 restarts to end the race at Dover. Hopefully that's not what happens here, but it's always risky when a driver decides to do something different at the head of the pack. We haven't seen Steve up front all night long. Qualified 30th. This is his first time leading laps today. Ethan Lane holds fort to be 6th, net 5th off pit road. The battle between Deweese and Fife continues, and it looks like round 3 as they're once again side by side with each other. Thunhorse is now behind his championship rival in Thomas Bressi. We'll see if he can pull it through as Steve Durham opts to lead us for the first time. Steve Durham is in control of a green flag restart. Let's see what happens here. DJ Stagner's a little bit further behind than Tigner is to Lariah. This is a guessing game for the inside, but Durham leaves them with no second guesses. He'll get away, but he'll quickly be pulled back in. We're off to work with the all-black number 21 of Steve Durham, already facing pressure. 3 wide, 4 wide for the race lead. Contact! Stagner into Lariah. They all save it, but that's exactly what happens when old rubber gets involved. Oh, Wetmore. Tom Wetmore destroyed up the track in a Jack Drucker. Morton, Thunhorst, and Will Reichard all destroyed. Very rarely does something like that play out well. That is another example. Here's a look back. Oh my goodness. I mean, for Tom Wetmore, this is a killer. For his playoff chances, he's going to need a hell of a race next week to even have a fair shot. He comes in 20 points above the cut. He slid up into Lariah, gets into the wall, goes down, and it's not even overcorrection. He was ricocheted back up the track. And Thunhorst, who got away from the first incident, jammed. And then you see Morton, jammed. And just huge hits for these guys. Morton, Kyle Cooper, Jack Drucker, Andrew Hamilton, Will Reichard, and Gael Brooks. And of course, it starts with the kerfuffle that was up at the head of the field with Steve Durham. Now, I will say this much: I'm not gonna put the blame on the 21 team of Durham here. Everyone shuffled around, and there was no direct contact with the 21, which initiated the wreckage. But those leaders got spooked for certain, and Steve just gets away. 51 laps to go. Ethan Lane gets back to business. He's now scored as your race leader. Ticker is in second. Nicholas Ward third. Thomas Bresci fourth, and Michael Araya is now fifth and down to pit road as he'll get himself some extra service here. And an interesting call for the 44 as Michael Araya, of course, getting himself some damage repair. You can see him buffing out the sides. And so Lariah, too, is going to be hit hard. That's a race winner again, who had the pace for it, a race-winning contender tonight, who finds himself on the outset based on that huge incident. 51 laps to go. We are expected to restart with some 49 remaining. We're coming now to 1 to green. For the first time all night long, 26th place starter Ethan Lane is your leading man. 51 laps to go. Coming to 50 now. Here we go. It's going to be Lane in control. Ward and Tigner positions 2 and 3. Thomas Bresci 4th, DJ Stagner 5th, and Braxton DeWeese 6th place. Jacob Fife qualified 6th, now runs 7th, and look at who he's against again. Braxton DeWeese, same lineup for these two drivers, and it's been all night long. 50 laps to go. Vinny Tigner is still the second man. Doesn't matter who's leading, Vinny has been right there for the taking. Going to be interesting to see now how Vinny and Ethan Lane go at each other. He and Michael Araya having such a strong, consistent battle. Lariah is going to be 19th on this restart. He's got a long way to work up from here. Unfortunately, Thunhorst, Wetmore, Morton all taking 1 or more laps down, and that's effectively the end of their chances to win this race. Green flag is set to bring him back to business. 49 laps to go. Here we go again. Ethan Lane gets the jump. It's going to be Tigner behind him, and we're on our way. Vinny blocks a firm number 97 in Nicholas Ward. Thomas Bresci right up high. Ethan Lane leading this lap with ease. It's going to be single file right behind for the top 10, but then watch what happens here. You've got Cody Smith, Josh Christman, Matt Sisler, Tyler Hensley all around one another. And so far, it looks like nothing has come of it, but some new faces getting up into the top 10 picture. Now, interestingly enough, Matt Sisler, a full-timer on the Octane Series standpoint, he has been strong tonight, working from 15th to 10th for the majority of the day. Now back up there again. With a few drivers bowing out, he might just be able to come home with the top 10 finish. Well deserved as he tries to push through on Sam Nieto and Nick Tarbuck. DeWeese versus Fife. With now Tom Wetmore falling back and out of the front of this race, they both might be able to make it through and get themselves up one spot apiece, which means that for the first time all night long, we haven't been considering the opportunity of just one of these two drivers making it in, but now both have a fair shot at doing so. Vinny Tigner, low on the Thomas Bresci team. New race leader as Ethan Lane falls back to 4th. Lane is going to drop back, and if you want to see why, well, here you have it. He just naturally dropped back. We pull it back 2 laps here, just pushed through, and the number 12 of Tigner is on his way. Thomas Bresci takes 2nd. DJ Stagner now looking to take P2 as well. For the back end of Bresci, it's going to be the Swamp Motorsports car right through. And DJ Stagner surges much like Vinny Tigner and pulls several tenths of a second just through one set. He'll make the pass through 3 and 4, and DJ's already within a quarter second of leader Tigner. Vinny's got to watch out. 44 remaining. Top 2 drivers breaking out. And while Vinny Tigner has been consistently up there in 2nd, you've got DJ Stagner holding his head up high and bringing his car right there as well. For the first time all night long, DJ Stagner up top, almost where he needs to be to make the pass. 44 laps to go. Surging topside. Tigner looking for his first win of the season, as is Stagner. The difference is Stagner is already above the playoff cut line. Tigner is not. Vinny winning would shock the world and again make that bubble battle that much tighter. Thomas Bresci 3rd place, Ethan Lane 26th up to 4th, gaining 22 places, but all of a sudden it's not enough to make up those final few that count for victory. Stagner, surging, takes the race lead for the first time tonight. Just had to make it through 1 and 2, and there was no contest from Vinny Tigner. .42 laps remaining, 0.2 of a second the edge now for DJ Stagner as he makes another, of course, solid trip around the circuit. That time by 31.523, 0.2 of a second quicker than Vinny. And it looks like even as Tigner has gotten away from Lane and Lariah, he's found another to best him. But will DJ Stagner best him for long? Tigner has so far been able to show good 20-lap pace. He only gave up that race lead within about 10. Does that mean now that Vinny has decided to lay back ever so slightly? I'm wondering whether or not that's what we're looking at here. And a little bit of a shake-up there from Braxton DeWeese and the 97 of Ward. So I'll tell you this much. I think we're going to see Vinny Tigner come back for at least one more surge. Even if we go green for the next 40 laps, I think he still has one more in him. Nicholas Ward to the inside now on that number 1 of DeWeese. Not yet has the 97 gotten by, but it looks like that's not too much of an issue. Jacob Fife to the bottom. Nick Tarbuck, Michael Araya toe-to-toe again. The big three from 2024 going to battle. And very clearly right now, it's not going to be for a race win, but it's going to be for good position. Nick Tarbuck in the regular season standings still has a lot to work toward as he's trying to keep himself up there top three in the standings. He and Ethan Lane have been so close to each other all throughout the season, and this is about the closest they've been. The gap is now 11 points. Tarbuck the advantage, but if he falls behind Ethan Lane anymore today, he's probably going to lose third in the regular season race, and it's going to be very challenging to take it back next week in New Hampshire. He might just be able to keep that third place in the championship. Braxton Uwais just ahead of Jacob Fife. These two have been lockstep now for 103 laps. Only a couple of tenths have separated them all night long and remains that very same way in the final moments. Ward in the wall. Taking a look from the backside of the 97, Nicholas Ward has his hands filled as he makes it into the top 5. Ward would need a victory to make the playoff picture as we ride aboard now with the 97. It's side by side between Michael Araya and Jacob Fife now. That will be for the 7th position. Araya is back on his way up. He was involved in that most recent caution, had to buff out the left side, and it looks like now with very minimal damage and little pace lost, Michael Araya has not quit. 36 laps to go. He'll take it high side again. And even still, he's going to keep on fighting. A top 10 is very realistic. But look at the number 67 of Will Reichard. Reichard was also involved in that most recent caution, and yet he too has gotten his damage repaired and put himself back in the picture. A surprise to say the least, but a welcome one as Will Reichard looks for one of his best finishes on the season. And it's coming, of course, in the late stage of the regular season. Maybe not time enough to make the playoff picture, but either way, Will Reichard showing he's got some strength left in this 67 team. This will be his first career top 10 in the Ignite Series, if, of course, he's able to seal the deal in the next coming 35 laps. DJ Stagner leading by 0.2 of a second, and while yes, he has taken the lead, he has by no means stretched it out to a major advantage, which is what we expected here. I think Tigner still has enough in the tank to contest and even try and take back the top spot. Lapper, though, passed by and Gael Brooks. Nicholas Ward gets to the inside on Thomas Bresci for 4th place here. And now it looks like Ward might be able to get himself up for a podium. Nicholas has been strong. Oh, DJ Stagner is in the wall and done for. Take a look at this. Stagner cautions out. Jack Drucker involved in an incident. Vinny Tigner takes the lead. We've got problems. What just happened to Stagner? Oh, he shot up there on his own accord. Was it a hardware failure? It might have been. He just let go. No contact or anything. Wow. All the while, Jack Drucker, 19 laps down, also going to retire. DJ Stagner just up the track. I don't think he had any control of the car as it happened. Take a look on board. This is similar to Ronnie Osmer in Portland last week, where he had a hardware failure. I believe that's what happened here. He just sailed into the corner and he was done. Upon further review, I think that DJ had control, but just completely missed the approach into the corner and stalled it out. Horrible for DJ. He's going to be on the lead lap as Vinny Tigner goes in. Wow. Oh, it's a big split now. Tigner does not take everyone with him. He takes just about half, if that, of the field. We've got now less than 30 laps under green to go, and pit strategy is split. Vinny Tigner are going to try to lead the way, and we're going to get back to business real soon. Until then, we're going to give you a brief message from our partners and associates live on FTN, but you won't miss a thing. Non-stop coverage as we are set to get back to work here. Thank you for tuning in live on FTN Broadcasting. Grab your popcorn. The best is yet to come as Ethan Lane is your overall race leader, and your leading man off pit road is Vinny Tigner. Old versus new. That's the battle for rubber now as we get back to work from Texas. We will be right back after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
.30 laps remaining. Casey Shue is going to be alongside the leading man in Vinny Tigner. Leading off pit road. But overall, it's Ethan Lane and Nicholas Ward back to business. Let's see now which of these two gets off better, or if any of these older tire guys have the advantage. We got 9 holdouts from Lane to Casey Shue. Green flags out for restart number 3. Ethan Lane gets away. Nicholas Ward a 10th back. Watch for Tigner and company behind. Let's see now if new rubber has enough time. Thomas Bresci up high on Nicholas Ward for P2. Still going to be dicey further behind. It is very close. I mean, you saw a little bit of rubbing from Ronnie Osmer. Osmer back in 11th after being as low as 28th and a lap down. It's been a redemption for the 55 team, and he's looking to push now knowing that time is of the essence. He's only now about 3 car lengths back on both Fife and Deweese. And with Tom Wetmore out of the picture, this could help out immensely in locking Ronnie Osmer in and making it all about the number 55 and leaving Fife and Braxton Deweese alike at bay. Look at that. Ronnie Osmer makes his way around on Jacob Fife. Side by side and 3 wide now with Bresci, Osmer, and Will Reichert. But take a look as Michael Araya takes it for P3. Laraya for 3rd. Leading all those on new rubber, a holdout no more. And it looks like we might just see a rematch of the Laraya and Lane battle from Michigan. Michael Araya firmly in 2nd. Will Reichert, career high, he's in 3rd. Will Reichert Even if he doesn't go out there and fight for the win, what a run for the 67. The highest position he's ever run under green, and he takes it with force. Ronnie Osmer behind him now. What a move for the 67 team. Reichert is showing that the underdogs have it in them tonight, and he might just be the man who breaks the mold. Vinny Tigner is still in ninth place here, trying to get back up. It hasn't been a great immediate start. Side by side for the race lead. It could be another pass for Reichert. Will goes to the inside on Lane. Lariah takes the lead. Oh, but the 67 wants it, and he will not quit. Can you believe it? Reichert faster than Lane, and he's chasing again after Lariah. Michael Araya now has gotten away, as has Reichert. Can Will hold on for a podium as Ethan Lane begins to slide? Ethan is now falling behind Osmer Tarbuck, and it looks like he's also got Vinny Tigner on him. 24 laps to go. It looks like the old tire experiment turns out to be, at least for now, the losing call, as Michael Araya has broken out, and Ronnie Osmer is looking for a clutch podium. He takes this top three. If he's able to hang on for this one, New Hampshire is going to be a walk in the park as long as he gets in no trouble. From 28th and a lap down, Ronnie Osmer's had the comeback of the day. 22 laps to go now. Like to thank our friends, and of course, that's going to be Whiplash SimCams, bringing you the cameras for tonight's festivities and all of the 2025 Integrity Racing League Tour. The best cameras on the market, and any broadcaster can get involved with the fun. Of course, Whiplash SimCams, their Discord server, free camera packs are available for trial use, and $5 a piece for each car and each track. No licensing fees necessary. There's no fees attached, no strings as well. Once you get it, it is yours. So thank you again to Whiplash SimCams and Pitstop TV for welcoming us into the Whiplash family. With 21 laps to go, everything's bigger when the playoffs are on the line. Let's get back to business as we go green and crank it up from the Texas Motor Speedway. 21 to go. It's Reichert and Lariah for the lead. Michael Araya with 16 laps to go hangs on for the race lead. Vinny Tigner had a slow start on this run, but he has not quit. And you might notice now he's up inside the 4th position looking for 3rd on Nick Tarbuck. As Vinny Tigner keeps on moving here, the question becomes whether or not he can pull a 1-second deficit and bring the 12 team to race victory. Will Reichert, of course, I think he's going to be the star of the night if he finishes it out on the podium. 2nd place, qualified 21st. He really wasn't much of anywhere for the first 100 laps. And all of a sudden, well, I think now you see it clear. This is his moment, the best run he's ever had, and it might just be his all-time career best finish when it is said and done. And a night like this doesn't come frequent for any driver. You have to work for it. Nick Tarbuck has come from 32nd up to 3rd. Will Reichert has come up now from 21st to 2nd place. Between those two drivers, I mean, they have gained an unbelievable amount of positions. Between them two, they've gained 48 places on the day from their qualifying spot. There are only 32 drivers in this race, which just goes to show they've gone the lengths that nobody else have. They've climbed the mountains, and now they're here. Tigner's 4th. Hasn't quite gotten up there to Nick Tarbuck yet, but there's still an outside chance Vinny hits the podium. Ronnie Osmer finds himself now in a battle with Tyler Hensley. Hensley looking for 2 consecutive top 5s. I'm telling you this much, Tyler Hensley is coming alive as of late, and it's very clear to see he's got more in him than what we've seen over the past first part of the season, which he's still been strong, getting top 10s and 15s, but 2 consecutive top 5s are very possible now for Tyler, as Will Reichert might be moved off the podium. Either way, what a night it has been for Reichert to get it up to 2nd so triumphantly, pushing past guys like Ethan Lane. And it looks like now he might be brought back ever so slightly, but he won't be brought back down to earth. Still in 4th here and still en route for what's going to be his career best finish if he only can hang on for 11 more laps. 130 laps in, we now just have the final stretch remaining as Vinny Tigner takes 3rd. Ten remaining for Michael Araya, looking for 2 wins in 3 weeks. And what a run it's been. A lot more like the 2024 Michael Araya, a driver we got to know very well as he went to Victory Circle 10 times. He's looking for what could be his 12th career appearance in Integrity Racing League Victory Lane. Tyler Hensley now ahead of Ronnie Osmer. Osmer tonight will get the better of Jacob Fife and Braxton DeWeese. Jacob and Braxton are still battling, but it looks like right now, Jacob, who comes in 1 point ahead of DeWeese in the championship, is 1 position ahead of him on the racetrack. So very little has changed in that regard. Osmer is going to be the big winner in the bubble battle tonight as he will outfinish Wetmore, Fife, and Braxton DeWeese. So long as he makes no critical error from here, it looks like it's going to be Ronnie Osmer, the victorious man. He's just got to hold on a little while longer. 8 laps to go. He's going to be, of course, taking that big win in the playoff category anyhow. He's just trying to make it to 15th in points and keep himself there. He's P15 now. Got a chance to jump to 14th, which will give him a little bit more security. Lariah already has a win this season, so he doesn't have to concern himself with it being a brand new winner, and he was locked in to begin with. So now, it's just all about winding down the laps and hoping for the best. If Vinny Tigner has had a great night, it might not be his win, but still, what a race it has been for the 12 team of Tigner, his best complete run in his Integrity Racing League career. Starting 3rd, and he is now on the verge of finishing 3rd to start where he finished and show that he had the pace all 140 laps. I think if he started maybe a spot or two ahead on that last restart, he could have very easily pulled a few more tenths, and that would have been the differentiator between whether or not he goes out and wins it tonight. He battled against Stagner. He battled against Lane. He battled against Lariah. And he still finds himself in the hunt with 6 laps remaining. You can't quit. It's still going down for Michael Lariah and company. This race is far from over. If we go to an overtime finish, it can get really, really different as fast as it comes. Six laps to go for the number 1 of Braxton Deweese. Doesn't look like right now he's going to have a chance to really get back up there to Jacob Fife. Fife has gotten himself relatively close to pulling away by, I would say, a half second here, but it still isn't that much of a distance with 5 laps remaining. If anything happens, that's what it comes down to. The field is at the mercy of itself right now, and I think every driver is well understanding of that. Most drivers have locked in, settled down with where they are, and I think it's going to stay that way here. Tyler Hensley might be the final driver with a real opportunity. Hensley was able to take his career best finish, which was 4th last week, but with 4 laps to go, he might just be able to match it and take 2 consecutive 4th place finishes. Hensley has been showing up as of late, and that is without a doubt. Maybe still a little too late to lock into the playoffs, but the energy he's been bringing to the racetrack for this summer stretch has been exciting to watch. For second place, Vinny Tigner to the inside on Nick Tarbuck. He will take the catbird seat, and now P2 with 3 laps to go. Just 1 position for Tigner will be the difference between making the playoffs and very likely sitting out. Best ever race. But he has to go up against the best of the best to seal the deal. 1 lap to go, coming through next time by. It's going to be 2 remaining now for Michael Lariah, and he is set to come to the white flag to finish the job and keep it ahead of the number 12. Vinny, he's going as hard as he can now, pushing to get that gap under a second. It looks like it's there now, but only just. White flag this time by. Hensley chasing after his career best finish. Matt Sisler looking for his first Integrity Ignite Series top 10. 1 lap to go for Michael Lariah. Qualifying today in second, Michael has already put himself into the playoffs and punched that ticket. 2 weeks ago came his first victory after more than 200 days at a victory circle. He did it again. And it looks like this time around, he's only had to wait 14 days and 14 nights to bring it back to victory lane. This is his 12th ever Integrity Racing League win in the modern era, and tonight came with relative ease. Nobody to battle at the tail end. It was all Michael Lariah. Checkered flag is his, and SimSpeed Shop's leading driver takes it back to Texas and comes away with a massive win, his 2nd of the season. Michael Lariah is back in full force. Career best run for Vinny Tigner. An amazing performance for the number 12. Nick Tarbuck as consistent as ever. 3rd, Will Reichert, career best finish. Amazing race for Will, 21st to 4th. Tyler Hensley, 1 spot off of his career best finish, and he could have gone back-to-back with it. Nevertheless, back-to-back top 5s. That is going to be Hensley for 5th. Matt Sisler, best run he's taken, 13th to 6th. That's going to be a strong run for the number 93 team. Incident at the back of the field outside the top 20, it looks like. And we'll see what happened here in the white flag lap. Sam Nieto, Deweese involved with each other. Thomas Bresci getting by, but you'll see the 1 car involved with the 2 of Sam Nieto. This was coming across for your final lap. And the time of the incident, drivers got through. Nieto ending up finishing in 14th. Deweese 21st. Both drivers falling out of the top 10 as Jacob Fife takes advantage. And of course, Ronnie Osmer in 7th gets the most out of all of the bubble battlers and he will move up firmly inside of protection. Michael Araya due to celebrate for the second time this year. Parking it at the start-finish line, Michael Araya. He's done it again. It's his second win of the season, and this time around, pretty different from what it was at Michigan. It was a head-to-head battle there. You had one mainstay driver going up against him, but it was multiple drivers for the most part, and then it became none. Nobody could touch Michael Araya when the going got rough. And for him, it didn't. 88 laps led, the most on the day. Qualifying second, he was the man of the race. And he comes away with his second win of the season. Vinny Tigner with his best finish. A lot of career best finishes on the night today, as Vinny Tigner, Will Reichard, Matt Sisler all accomplished the very same feat. Vinny just one spot off of upsetting the field and becoming the second straight upset to win a race. 28 laps led, qualifying third. A great all-around performance for Tigner. Then you'll have Nick Tarbuck in third, Will Reichard fourth, and Tyler Hensley, P5. Matt Sisler goes 6th with Ronnie Osmer 7th, Sebastian Miller 8th, Ethan Lane 12 laps led, coming from 26th up to 9th, held on with old tire as Nicholas Ward concludes the top 10. 11th place then from there will be Jacob Fife, Thomas Bressi goes 12th, and Cody Smith is 13th with Sam Nieto P14, Josh Christman 15th, and Casey Shue 16th place. Andrew Hamilton, Steve Durham, Josh Gallagher, and DJ Stagner round out the top 20, with 21st then being Braxton Deweese, 22nd Kyle Cooper, Brant McClendon 23rd, Gael Brooks 24th, Jack Drucker 25th, Blake Gordon 26th, and 27th Matthew Thunhorst. 28th is Tom Wetmore with Justin Morton P29, and 30th is Brandon Bernhardt, 31st and 32nd respectively, Ryan Potter and Boomer. A 32-car field. Tonight, we were seeing whether or not the underdogs could come through. In many a way, they did, but a familiar face is back in victory lane, and very soon, his first win this season coming this month. And it looks like already he's brought it right back. Michael Araya is back in business, and if Michigan wasn't proof enough, look who's in victory lane again. Michael, welcome back. It's your second win this month, and you're really firing off on all cylinders here as you chase another championship.
That's right. This one feels good, David. Man, had to come back through some adversity there on one of the restarts, and um, I knew with the pace that I had, just don't give up. And I had fresh sets of tires still. Luckily, my damage wasn't that bad. It was only 30 seconds, so I had a shot. I knew I had a shot still at that point, but I knew I had my work cut out for me, and I was just driving bad the last 50 laps or so of this race, and doing all I could to get back towards the front. But I caught that last caution at an opportune time, being able to start near the top 5, and at that point, with some drivers staying out and me being on fresh tires, at that moment I knew I had a shot to at least get to the front, and then it was going to be banking on hopefully having no cautions, and luckily it worked out.
That final long run, the biggest thing for you, of course, new tire, old tire, that was the final gamble. Looks like you made the right call. What led you to it?
Well, I knew there at the end, just when I got caught up in the melee there on one of the restarts, luckily I didn't slide the tires too badly. So I knew at that point I had to save a set of tires. Um, and I'm glad I did. If I didn't save that set, then I would have been in trouble for that last caution there. Um, so that kind of just set me up right towards the end, and just being able to work my way towards the front. And I knew that drivers were going to be struggling coming off of turn 2, especially on the older tires. So I was just trying to do all I could to wrap the bottom and get position on them going into 3. And I knew at that point I just had to lead the conga line of fresh tires through the field. And then once I got the lead, just do all I could to defend there.
88 laps led, the most of anyone today. You had quite a few drivers battling around you, notably Vinny Tigner, Ethan Lane on a surge up at the very end, Will Reichert as well. It wasn't just one driver to fight, so how was it dealing with so many at the head of the field?
Yeah, Vinny had a really good pace tonight. I think him and we definitely had something figured out. That first run of the race, I I was able to get the lead fairly quick, but Vinny's pace, short run to mid run was outstanding, and I felt like I was abusing my stuff a little too much. So he got a good run out of me, and I just decided, let him go by, try to follow him, maybe learn something from him. Maybe he's going to burn his stuff off, and it started coming back to me towards the end of the first run there. I was able to get back by him, but I knew the rest of the race is really going to be between him and I. Unless Ethan, of course, got up front, which he did, but it just worked out strategy wise. So Vinny put up a really good fight, and then Will there at the end too. I mean, he was right on my bumper there, and if he caught a break or two getting through lap traffic and was able to get ahead of me, who knows? He might have been able to hold me off with that clean air. So it just kind of worked out good that way. Where um, again, passing through the field there towards the end, I was able to lead the train of cars on fresh tires and be in a good defensive position there.
And defense, as critical as it was, also came down to that right strategy and pushing through when it mattered most. Now you got 2 wins, you're locked in firmly for the playoff picture. New Hampshire, final race before things get serious. You got any goals in mind for the Magic Mile?
New Hampshire is definitely going to be a tougher track for me, I think, to get a win. But with the momentum I've had lately here, I'm not going to discount myself. Who knows? But I think for me, top five run is certainly in the realm of possibility. I think if I can do that and I can get some good stage points, that's again what I'm going to aim for. I think stage points again at this juncture, now that I have a couple wins, that's definitely going to mean something just to pad myself out through that first round, especially because you never know what can happen with luck, and so you definitely want to try to eliminate any chances of luck being a factor.
Only one more race before the playoff picture comes in a full swing. Michael Araya, 2 wins in the last 3 weeks, and the good times roll here in Texas. Any final comments or shout outs you'd like to send out?
Yeah, of course, I got to give a shout out to you, David, as always, for the broadcasts, the admins of IRL, and my teammate Sam Nieto tonight. We were definitely going back and forth on strategy, so that certainly played a factor tonight. And just another fun race tonight overall.
Michael Araya winning from the Texas Motor Speedway and pulling together the most laps led, starting from second. Thank you again for your time.
All right, thank you.
With Michael on the move, second best man on the day, having his best career race in the Ignite Series, and what a performance it was for the 12-team Vinny Tigner. Only one position maybe separating you from that playoff berth, but either way, a statement race at that for your team.
Yeah, I think I finished second here last year. Yeah, that was frustrating. I wish I can get that last restart back. Um, I felt like I had good pace, but yeah, Michael obviously was the top guy there tonight, but I felt like I can hang with him, and I felt like I had a little bit more pace. Just wish that last yellow never came out. I know DJ had some issues, uh, but I felt like after certain amount of laps, I was probably going to get around him. I just felt like me and Michael were probably the fastest guys tonight. So, but hey, the best man won.
Tonight came down to what we expected to see, the battle of how long those stints would be. First and foremost, that opening run you took away with that short run pace, and it looks like you still had that pace to move back up to second, but the first battle really showed us what your strength was. You think there was any way you could have gotten maybe a little better through the final long runs?
Well, yeah, that first run, yeah, I was just trying to find my pace. I obviously was going a little bit too hard. Um, I kept missing the bottom in 1 and 2, and but I mean, I still led, which I was kind of surprised. But I was just waiting for Michael to catch me because I knew where I was missing my points in the corner, and that second run, I felt like I can hang with him, and I was just comfortable riding right behind him. I don't think he pulled more than 2/10 on me, maybe 3/10, and I was just hanging right there, and I felt like I was saving a little bit in the bag. So um, I felt like the long run was pretty good for me, and it showed right there in that final run. Um, even though he was ahead, I had to still pass some cars. I was kind of running him down there at the end, so I had decent pace at the end too. So it just, like I said, it just came down to that final restart, and I was stuck on the outside. And when we went into one, um, I just kind of lifted a little bit. I thought I was going to run those guys over, so I didn't want to cause any problems tonight. I just wanted to finish this thing out clean and get the best finish I could.
And with hands down your most complete race in the Integrity Ignite series. I mean, you started well, you finished just ahead of where you started, and that's a high bar to clear. One race left in the regular season, and you have shown again and again now you're improving here, you're getting those runs in. You haven't been full-time so far, or rather you haven't. We've seen you up here, you've gotten most of the season in. Playoff picture, you think you've still got one shot to make it in New Hampshire?
We'll see. I don't have a ton of experience in New Hampshire. I run maybe a race or two a year there, and I don't know. We'll see. I was just really hoping this is my best track. I felt like if I was going to win, this is probably it. But we'll see what happens next week.
One more week, one more chance, and the 12 team delivers Vinny second place before we go racing on Saturday night, and we'll see you there, hopefully. Any final comments till then?
No, thank you for calling the race, and yeah, I can't wait for next weekend to get rolling here. It should be a good season.
Vinny Tigner, second place finish and a real strong run with 28 laps led, putting the speed back together at the Lone Star State again. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
With Vinny on the way, Nick Tarbuck has remained so consistent, a driver who, first and foremost, finally bringing it to victory lane in the Integrity Racing League this year, which has been the one hurdle he has not yet overcome, finally got it done last week. Anyway, again, third place, the 29 team has been on it when it just comes to being consistent no matter the track. And that's the case again. Nick, the 29 team, 32nd up to third, mind you. Started all the way at the back of the field and still made it happen.
Yes, sir. Well, I had a bet with Tom Wetmore at the start of the race. He was doing some craziness, some shenanigans in practice, and I said if he could do it on purpose again, I would not qualify. Was his offer. So he did it, and I didn't qualify. I kept my word, but it ended up working out pretty well. The track where it's just being methodical, saving the tires really hard, because you could really run it hard, but then you'd be absolutely slow as molasses the last 80% of a run. So I think starting in the back helped me slow down, and I was up to I think 12th by the end of the first run there, lap 45, whenever the first caution was. So yeah, I mean, got a little lucky with the pit strategy at the end there with people taking tires and some people not taking tires, but it's part of it. Third place, I'm not going to complain.
And of course, a podium finish. You can't really knock a race like that, but I'm sure you must have wondered whether or not you would have had the pace to go out there and win. The final strategy call is made so late in the going. It looks like, of course, you made the right move to keep yourself out there up in front. Last time you went to pit road was one lap before everyone else, according to timing and scoring, though. You think that played a part at all?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. It might, maybe, but if the tire strategy was just so you could ruin it in one turn if you were too harsh on them. So a lapper or something is not making a massive difference if you're just keeping it easy the whole time. I think just the key was was trying to let other people burn their stuff up more than I burnt my tires up, and even if I was a little slower at the start. But at the end there, it's hard because you're battling to keep track position and not get passed by 50 cars or whatever that on the inside. So I don't know, it might have helped a little bit, but I think at the end of the day, I was I guess consistent enough to keep whatever advantage I had longer than the other guys. But obviously the ride was on a different level today with it. And even Vinny at the end got me. I was trying to hold him up a little bit, but I couldn't do it. But that's how these tire strategy races go.
And so now, of course, you came into this race 145 points above the cut line. I mean, that's effectively locked in. You can't really knock that from this point. Even if the win hasn't come just yet in this series, you're firmly putting yourself in for another chance at the title. New Hampshire's up next, the Magic Mile. You think you can pull something out of a bottle and go for a victory there?
I am not confident, but I guess I'll be optimistic. I'm not great at New Hampshire. I really don't understand the racing lines there whatsoever. I mean, last season I think we were running like on the apron in the turns. It's like I just don't get it. But who knows? I'll try to be consistent. I'll try to just do what I normally do, just keep my head in it. And yeah, I'm not too sure about getting a win or anything, but it is nice being effectively locked in. It kind of takes the pressure off. I mean, in fact, that's the only reason why I pit for tires at the end there, which ended up working out. It's because I could risk it and take the tires then instead of having to hope for a caution. So we'll see next week. If something comes up, I may give it a shot if I have some chance to practice before the race. But, just going to try and keep it clean.
In the conversation from beginning to end this regular season, and these podiums keep on stacking up. Nick Tarbuck, third place on the day. Any final comments or shout-outs you'd like to send?
Yeah, man. Want to thank you for a great broadcast as always. Want to thank the admins for putting on a good race. Want to thank everybody who tuned in to watch. Mom, Dad, my wife, all the boys back home who tuned in. Had third place. Why not? And I think that'll do it.
8th top 5 of the season. 13th top 10. Nick Tarbuck through 20 races keeps the consistency as strong as ever from Texas. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
With Nick on the way, you've heard from all of your top 3. Man, what a race for that podium. And Nick Tarbuck is a no-doubter when it comes to making a great race out of any track. But Vinny Tigner, got to tell you, looked like tonight could have been his, and what a race it was for the 12 team. Vinny's best in the Integrity Ignite Series, and a great way to keep the momentum rolling as we'll see him later this week. Michael Araya, however, he captures that second victory, and he is the be-all, end-all, most successful man coming out of Fort Worth, Texas. Now one race remains. The playoff picture continues to shuffle. Tonight you see Ronnie Osmer go from 28th up to 5th, and of course finishing 7th. He comes out with the edge over Fife and Braxton DeWeese. And Tom Wetmore, with a major error, now is in a do-or-die place for our next race at New Hampshire. We hope to see you there as we continue coverage from the Magic Mile next Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll be live tomorrow with the Integrity Octane Series as they head toward another event. That's the Indianapolis Motor Speedway at 9 p.m. Eastern. Next night, that's of course Tuesdays. Until then, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed tonight's coverage from the virtual Texas Motor Speedway. I've been David Kreutz, commentating and producing. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Your support is always greatly appreciated. Congratulations to Michael Araya collecting his second win of the year. Tune in tomorrow night for the Integrity Octane Series at Indianapolis, and next week for the Integrity Ignite Series at New Hampshire. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you have a fantastic night.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. visit iRacing.com.
Boundless makes its presence felt. It will not be ignored. We're helping turn ideas into reality with a wealth of building products that take every architectural style to the next level. This is what it's like to imagine, build, and transform anything we want into exactly what we seek. This is what it means to be boundless.
Welcome to the Underdog Racing Podcast, where we talk to NASCAR drivers from all over the great country of America. Each week, we chat about the latest races, share stories from the track, and get to know the drivers behind the wheel. We break down the action, hear from drivers about their experiences, and dive into what drives them to keep racing. Whether you're a longtime NASCAR fan or just curious about the sport, this is the place for you. So tune in to the Underdog Racing Podcast, your inside look at the world of NASCAR. Catch us every Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern.
This message is brought to you by the rebrand of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This publication may not be reposted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. NASCAR Camping World Ford F-150. NASCAR Xfinity Ford Mustang. NASCAR Cup Series Next-Gen Ford Mustang. Arca Menards. This has been the publication of the redesign and rebranding of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This message may not be reposted, republicated, or rebroadcasted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. Thank you, and thanks for your time.